In this era of online shopping and streaming services, it's hard to imagine a time when a night of family entertainment was a trip to the local department store, where you could find everything from live in-store music to fashion shows to grilled cheese sandwiches. In tonight's CBS 6 Rewind, we take you back to the beginning and end of a community favorite for nearly 100 years, the Carl Company. In May of 1991, with downtowns morphing into ghost towns and shopping malls muscling out mom-and-pop stores, the local Carl Company department store chain raised the white flag, leading lines of shoppers to wrap around State Street, ready for one last ping of the cash register. This was more than a going-out-of-business sale. It was a wake for an old friend who had served them well for 95 years.
It was a place that everybody from Schenectady went to.
Rewind to 1906. Women still wore corsets and long skirts. American football saw its first legal forward pass. San Francisco mourned the death of hundreds in a devastating earthquake. And that was the year a husband and wife team from Western New York pinned their hopes for fame and fortune on the Electric City. The trolley had arrived on Schenectady's State Street 3 years earlier, and in another 2 years, the Model T would turn a stay-at-home society into movers and spenders. But in '06, Schenectady residents were agog over the newfangled department store that had sprung up on State Street. That out-of-towner, Charles Carl, had sold his small dry goods stores in a Rochester suburb, creating a very bright future for the Electric City. With their trademark jackets and their distinct logo boxes, Charles Carl and his son Charles had an uncanny knack for getting their name out there. From TV commercials,
come to Carl's second floor fashion salon, where you'll find a cool, casual, comfortable silhouette,
to gold bond stamps, the Carls knew how to create customer loyalty, even introducing an in-store organist to harmonize with those singing cash registers. The famous lunch counter in the basement served up some good grub and gossip.
You got a Coke and, whatever else you want, a burger, hot dogs. People love the Carl Company. You could go down there and find almost anything that you were looking for.
Daily Gazette reporter Bill Buell was 2 years old the first time he went. For years to come, he would walk in that front door and head right downstairs.
I remember going there with my mother and wanting to go downstairs. I think the toys were in the basement.
If you were heading upstairs, you would run into the store's amiable ambassadors ready to push your buttons.
They're usually, they seem like they're all women in their 50s. She opened the door and she said,
"What floor, please?" And going up could have been the motto for the Carl Company, as it became the first locally owned department store to open a branch in the suburbs.
What changes have you seen in the last 25 or 30 years?
One is the use of the automobile on the part of the consumer, the mobility of the consumer.
Over time, Carl Company stores would be sprinkled from Glenville to Troy to Rotterdam to Amsterdam to Saratoga. There could have been one in Albany-Stuyvesant Plaza, but the deal fell through because the Carls would not open on Sundays.
I'm sure that a lot of our competitors do a great deal of business on Sundays, but we haven't felt the need or desire to do it.
Charles Carl did things his way, and when big boxes replaced cozy familiarity, he made the decision to sell. When he left, most of the longtime employees gave their notice. Without him, the stores eventually shuttered, and his customers were heartbroken.
I remember everybody being upset, kind of disappointed. What was downtown Schenectady going to be like without the Carl Company?
The Carl Company itself was home, really, downtown Schenectady.
And with the department store's demise came the end of specialized customer service that made shopping at Carl's a day at the beach. And just to give you an idea of how much clout the downtown Carl Company store wielded, that last video you saw was from a preliminary Miss Universe pageant competition held inside the store. The community lost more than a place to shop when the Carl Company went out of business. Charles Carl encouraged top-level managers to join different local service organizations like Kiwanis and the Lions Club, and even created the Carlillion Foundation, named in honor of his mother, to offer grants to community organizations.